Hello, my name is Sarah Labens, and I will be discussing the role of computer games in education. In order to make games effective in the classroom, there are many factors that need to be considered. The first I will be discussing is conversational language. In addition, having a spoken format also can help students feel encouraged to participate. When given prompts to explain, students have the opportunity to elaborate. Teachers should provide explanatory feedback, which will give students a better idea of how they could improve and what they are doing well with. Finally, having pre-game activities can certainly set the tone for many students in the classroom. I'd like to provide some examples for each of the 5 factors. When using conversational language as a foreign language teacher in a middle school classroom, I will often use a question and answer format. For example, when I am instructing my students about French architecture, I use an activity where they are told to draw a house with 10 different features of an interior part of the house. So I'm asking them to draw 4 rooms and 6 pieces of furniture. I tell them to keep their images private and keep them a secret. After they've drawn their images of the home, they are going to be paired up and they ask the following question: Est-ce qu'il y a un fauteuil chez toi? And that question is asking simply, is there an armchair at your house? If the students have not drawn an armchair for one of their 6 pieces of furniture, they would respond, Non, il n'y a pas de fauteuil chez moi. If they have, Oui, il y a un fauteuil chez moi. Having this question and answer format for students provides them an opportunity to have real-life scenarios where they are using conversational language. In addition, having a foreign language classroom, it is very important to have students speaking in French, so incorporating a spoken format. Another type of game that I use is called La Course, which is a race, the race in French. This is from my architecture unit. Students view the different stops that they're going to have to attend to. We have le début, the beginning, and la fin, the end. Each of the stop signs represents a roadblock that they must overcome. I show them sentences in English. I have a basement, and they're asked to translate to French. J'ai une cave. Typically, I will time how long it takes each class to get through each of the stop signs, and they will see different sentences that they must translate. Each student goes one at a time, and they become very competitive within different classes. When giving prompts to explain, students are given the opportunity to elaborate. One way that I have students elaborate is to incorporate different units and recycle materials. For example, in this assignment, I'm asking students to use directions in French to identify where certain items are in their home. The question, Qu'est-ce qu'il y a dans ta cuisine? Is asking, what is there in your kitchen? My example doesn't just state that there's a fridge, it states dans ma cuisine, il y a un frigo à côté de la table. Il y a aussi des fleurs au sommet de la table. So in my kitchen, there's a fridge next to the table. There are also some flowers on top of the table. So they're incorporating different vocabulary from prior units and given the opportunity to explain and elaborate. The fourth factor that is encouraged for game effectiveness is being specific as a teacher when giving explanatory feedback. One way that teachers can incorporate explanatory feedback is by having a common rubric that they use that explains how each student could earn a different score here. So for example, I just started incorporating a memorization component for my students when they are doing speaking assessments. I do ask them to memorize their script, and they work with partners but are graded individually, and they can see exactly how they could earn each score. I will typically write them a few comments as well as indicating how they scored in each category, and this provides them feedback that will specifically let them know which areas they can improve on and which areas they're doing very well with. Finally, incorporating pregame activities can set the tone for the entire lesson. One thing I like to start my 7th and 8th grade classes with is something I call the stand-sit game. I will start off with a simple question that they can customize, and then I give them some sample responses. This question, qu'est-ce qu'il y a dans ton grenier ou ta cuisine? It's asking what is there in a certain room, so kitchen or an attic I have here, and they're asked to think of a response without having their notes. So this kind of gets them warmed up for speaking in French, and it has them prepared for class. So again, the role of computer games in education, having these different components can really help you incorporate different forms of technology, conversational language, spoken format, prompts to explain, explanatory feedback, and pre-game activities.